one of the dreaded armed robbers that held this country to ransom. There was a time this particular young man was so dreaded and it was as if nobody can bring him down. Lawrence Nomoyagbon Anini, that was his full name. He was Nigeria's most notorious armed robber ever, who held sway in the old Bendel State. That time it was called Bendel State, now Edo and Delta State. His reign in the 80s was so bloody that he was even discussed at State Security Council meetings. Anini was born in 1960 in a village about 20 miles from Benin City, present-day Edo State, dreadfully called the Law or Ofigbo. He migrated to Benin in an early age, learned to drive, and became a very skilled taxi driver. He became known in Benin Motor Park as a man who could control the varied competing interests among motor park touts and operators, these Agboro people. At the point, he now became one of the greatest Agboro in that park. He later delved into the criminal business in the city and soon became a driver and transporter for gangs and criminal godfathers and thieves. So anytime you have a very difficult operation and they need somebody that can drive, they come and look for him, and he will, take you people there and bring you back because he was so skilled when it comes to driving. Later on, he decided to create his own gang. After he became very strong, he created his own gang, which include Monde Osumbo, Ufegbe, and he also have others. They started out as car hijackers and bus robbers and bank thieves. Gradually, he extended his criminality to other towns and cities far north and east of Benin. In early 1986, two members of his gangs were tried and prosecuted against an earlier under-the-table agreement, because what happened was that they were caught and it's like they had a little agreement, but these gangs were actually killed, some of his gangs, to destroy evidences against the gang members. Had an agreement that don't kill these boys, so they had to kill them to cover, the police had to kill these boys to cover some things. When they killed these two boys, he became angry, and in his view of police betrayal, he said they betrayed him. That thing is believed to have spurred the retaliatory actions by Anini. In August 1986, a fatal bank robbery linked to Anini was reported, in which a police officer and others were killed. That same month, two officers on duty were shot at a barricade while trying to stop Anini's car. During a span of 3 months, he was known to have killed 9 police officers. The one that made headlines, the top officers. On September 6th, the same year, Anini's gang snatched a Peugeot 504, that was the reigning car at that time, from, they call it Peugeot in Nigeria. A Peugeot 504 car from Albert Otto, the driver of an assistant inspector general of police, Christopher Omebin. In snatching the car, they killed the driver and went to hide his corpse somewhere. It was not until 3 months later that the skeleton of the driver was spotted 16 kilometers away from Benin City along the Benin-Agbo highway. A day after this attack, Anini, operating in a Passat car believed to have been stolen. That time they would steal a car and use it for operation and all that. Yeah. They also effected the snatching of another Peugeot 504 car near the former Fadeco office in Benin. 2 days later, Anini's men killed 2 policemen at Oriwan local government area of the state. Still in that month, 3 different robbery attacks, all pointing to Anini's involvement. So a day after the operation, Anini, the Law, as he was fondly called, turned to Father Christmas as he went to the street and started throwing money. He went to the market and spraying money to people, market women, villagers near Benin, and people started hailing him. Anini thus spearheaded a 4-month reign of terror between August and December 1986. Anini also reportedly wrote numerous letters to media houses using political tones of Robin Hood and to describe his criminal act. Robin Hood, he was robbing the rich
and giving to the poor.
So Anini now said that he is the Nigerian version
of
Robin Hood. After Anini terrorized a lot of communities, now worried by the seeming exclusiveness of Anini and his gang members, the then military president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, ordered a massive manhunt for the kingpin and his fellow robbers. Imagine the president being involved. You terrorize the country to the extent that the president of a country. The police went after them, combining every part of Bendel State as at then, where they were reportedly operating and living, the whole nation was gripped with fear of the robbers and their daredevil exploits. The police manhunt failed to stop their activities. The more they were hunted, the more intensified their activities became. Some of the locals in the area even began to tell stories of their invincibility. At the conclusion of a meeting of the Armed Forces Ruling Council in October 1986, General Ibrahim Badamasi turned to the then inspector. Yeah, he turned to in a meeting, the popular meeting, everybody gathered, and the president turned to the IG of police. Then his name was Etimiyang. My friend, he even say IG. He said, "My friend, where is Anini?" Imagine president turn to you, president of you, my friend.
Where is Anini?
It was a big embarrassment to the IG of police. It was a slap on his face. He didn't even talk throughout the meeting again. About this time, the Nigerian newspapers and journals were also publishing various reports and various headlines. Now you'll be hearing headlines like Anini Challenge, the Anini Saga, Anini Factor, Lawrence Anini, the man, the myth, Anini Jack the Ripper. And there's another headline, they said Lawrence Anini, a Robin Hood in Bendel. There was a particular headline by the Guardian that asked emphatically in one of his reports, and they say, will they ever find Anini the law? So finally, it took the courage of the superintendent of police, Kayode Owanreruru, to bring Anini reign of terror at the end. On December 3rd, 1986, the superintendent of police, Kayode Owanreruru, he caught Anini at number 26, Oyenwosa Street, opposite Iguadola Primary School, Benin City, in company with 6 women. Of course, we all know Anini with his escapade with women at that time. So, acting on tip-off from the locals, the policemen went straight to the house where Anini was hiding and apprehended him with very little resistance. Owanreruru led a crack 10-man team to the house, knocked on the door of the room, and Anini himself opened the door. He was with Pantu. Just came out, opened the door, and they asked him, do you know that all this was nobody? They didn't even know his face. They didn't know who was really Anini. So the policeman now asked, where is Anini? Anini was shocked and he was caught off guard and having no escape route after that time. This one room charlotte of a prostitute. So Anini tried to outsmart the policeman. He now said, oh, Anini is under the bed in the inner room. As he said it, he made some moves to walk past Owanreruru and his team. In the process, he shoved and head-butted the police officer, but it was an exercise of futility. Just head-boot one of them and wounded that guy badly. So Owanreruru promptly reached for his guns, stepped on Anini's right toe and shot at his left ankle. They then pumped more bullets into, because he was a very dangerous man. They pumped more bullets, into his legs and almost severed the ankle from his entire legs. Already anguished by the excruciating pain, the policeman asked him again, are you Anini? He replied, my brother, I won't deceive you. I will tell you lie, I am Anini. So while in police net, Anini, who had a poor command of English language and could only communicate in pidgin, made a whole lot of revelations. He disclosed, for instance, that Osumbo, who has been arrested earlier, was his deputy.
Okay.
Saying that Osumbo actually shot and wounded the former police boss of the state, Akagbosu. One of the police people that was killed at that time. Anini was shot in the leg, transferred to a military hospital, and one of his legs amputated. When Anini's hideout was searched, police recovered assorted charms, including the one he usually wore around his waist during the so-called operation. It was instructive that after Anini was captured and dispossessed of his charms, the man who terrorized the whole state and who was supposed to be fearless suddenly became remorseful, making confessions. This was against public expectation of the dead devil hoodlum who could remain defiant even to the very end. Because I remember that time I was watching him, he was even crying, Jesus is my comforter. Jesus is my comforter.
That when they won't be executed.
Yeah. Because people were expecting that he should waiting now, But he was crying like a child. So shortly after the arrest of Anini and co, the daredevil robbers began to squeal, revealing that the role played by key police officers and men in the aiding and abetting of criminals in Bendel State and the entire country. Police hand been there. Anini particularly revealed that George Iyamu, who was the most senior police officer, was shielding the robbers. He will reveal police secret to them and give them logistic support such as arms to carry out robbery operation. You see why some of these people succeed. And there was a lot of people who say, Anini disappear. Anini do this. Why not disappear? Due to the amputation of his leg, Anini was confined to a wheelchair throughout his trial. He was sentenced to death by Justice James Omo Agege. And he was executed on the 29th of March, 1987.